We all have nicknames. Most of us don't have nicknames. But when I was 15, there was a nickname that I forced my parents and siblings to call me at home. And that was CEO. I really love the term. I had always wanted to be a CEO, so I told them from now on in this house, call me PDG, which is CEO, but in French, the abbreviation of it. I've always liked leadership, loved the idea of it, wanted to be a leader. I'm not the type that will blend it easily, so it was really difficult for me to be a follower. So when I graduated from high school, I started looking into leadership things. What are those things that really make one the leader? And as I started my journey of self-discovery, of self-development and learning, I stumbled on 5 very important things that every leader ought to have as a characteristic trait. Think about this. We are all told that as we behold Christ, we are changing to the same image. But have you ever asked yourself, what exactly are we to behold in Him? I started asking myself this question a couple months back, and I was wondering, what are those things in Christ that I have to behold to become like Him? And the same is true when we talk about leadership. We want to be good leaders, but what are those characteristics? What are those traits that we have to behold in a leader, that we have to behold in Jesus, the ultimate leader, that can lead us to become leaders ourselves? So today I'm giving you hot gist. I am giving you 5 characteristics, 5 traits, 5 abilities, 5 attitudes that you must have to become a better leader. 5. Take it as a miniature leader, like a template that I'm forming to give you for free. So if you are new here, the first thing you'll have to do is to subscribe, to like, to share this, and to drop a comment, and we'll dive right in. Welcome back to Leading with Glory. If this is your first time, my name is Glory Divine, and it is always my pleasure to have you here and sitting here to teach you some hot wisdom. So today we are talking about a very interesting topic, 5 attitudes that you must develop and cross-check if you don't have to become a better leader. Let me start by defining for us what I mean by leadership. Leadership is simply your capacity to influence, to motivate, to mobilize, to inspire people towards a common goal, while at the same time keeping momentum, keeping courage, keeping things moving and going. So if you realize that you have that ability, welcome, you're a leader. The truth is that most of us have leadership potential. All of us have that potential to become leaders, but very few of us actually become leaders. If you haven't watched our previous video about potential, you better go look it, because the fact that you have a potential for leadership does not mean that you'll manifest it. And if you want to know how you can manifest potentials, go back and look at that video. But what I'm talking about today is you have that potential to become a leader. You can be a leader. And though we all say leaders are not born, leaders are made, others say leaders are born, they are not made, the reality is that on your course to leadership, you will need to put in work. You will need to change some characters. You will need to change some mindset. You will need to adopt some mindset. You will need to learn, unlearn, relearn, and more. So that's what leadership is. But the first attitude that you need to become a better leader, the first attitude you need to become a better leader is self-knowledge. You need to know thyself. Simply putting it, knowing yourself is the first thing that guarantees that you'll be a leader. See, a lot of people are followers today, and a lot of people that call themselves leaders oftentimes are managers, and those are 2 different things. I'm talking about becoming a leader, and simply put it, that to be a leader in few words is to dare to be yourself, is to dare to manifest yourself with integrity and without compromise. As Dr. Miles Monroe will say in one of his books, it's your capacity to decide to be an original and not a copy. But oftentimes, we want to be copies. We want to do what the next person is doing. We want to handle our organization the way the next person is handling theirs. We want to create a non-for-profit, a company, a business that does exactly what the next person is doing. Not because we have a different vision, but because we're trying to copy a model of success that we've seen work for others, but doesn't mean it will work for us. In a way, I want to say the world is tired of people that will just follow, that will just copy. The world wants the you, the real you, the unique you. It is when you discover your uniqueness that you accept and appreciate your uniqueness, and that you develop it and serve it with bravo and serve it with excellence to the world, that you become a leader. Stop trying to be a copy. Stop trying to do things like others just because they did it and it worked. Stop trying to be a photocopy of something when you can literally be an original. And guess what? People like following unique things. When they discover that you are unique and that you are you, they will want to follow you because they'll be inspired by your boldness to be you unapologetically. So I'll say this again. Know thyself. That's the first step in knowing thyself. The capacity to wanting and accepting and doing all your best to be unique, to be unique, to be unique and original, not a copy. But the second point that goes into knowing thyself is knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your potentials. What are those things in you that cry deeply? What are those things that you have a passion for? What are those things that you have the skills for? What are those things that come naturally to you? You don't need to overwork. You don't need to think too much. It just flows. What are those things? Maybe that's a sign that you need to develop them because they are part of your inner being. They are part of your gift and your talents. Usually you succeed best and become a master at a God-given talent that you've developed. Let me take an example. I like chemistry. I did chemistry in high school. But I know for sure that I cannot be in the lab 24/7. Why? Because I don't like chemistry that much. Now, I could decide that I really like this chemical engineer job title. And I go to school and I do chemistry, chemical engineering, and I pass. The effort it would take me to achieve that degree is not the same as someone who has an inherent passion for chemistry. It will not be the same as someone who sleeps and dreams about making new drugs and new medication that will heal things like cancer or AIDS. It will not be the same. Therefore, our passion, our results will show. Our results will differentiate us because no matter how much work I put, the person next to me will not need to put that much effort to get the same result. So it's not just about developing a character. It's not just about developing a skill. It's about developing a natural God-given skill, a natural God-given talent. There are talents in you that you feel flow easily. Those are the ones you should try to develop. Don't go and pick a random talent, a random thing that you decide to do and now force yourself into learning it, force yourself into loving it, force yourself into developing it. That's not the way to succeed. In knowing thyself as a leader, you want to know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. You want to know what are those things that I'm really, really good at. And that's where you will put pressure, mount pressure to develop. The second thing that all leaders seem to have in common is purpose. You heard me right. All leaders are driven by a driving force, by a vision, a guiding vision that guides their day-to-day, their guides their months, and sometimes, most often, their years. A purpose. A purpose is a driving vision. It's an idea. It's a question that you so much want to solve. It's a problem that you so much want to answer that drives you as a force. It is something that pushes you. It's something that keeps you going. It's something that plants passion in you. So what is your purpose? They have a sense of purpose. They have a sense of, I am here for a task. The world needs me for X, Y, or Z. The purpose might differ. It might be, I'm here to make connection better between human beings. So they'll focus themselves on communication, focus themselves on teaching people how to communicate better. Some people will come, I'm here to dismantle racism. Some people will be, I'm here to ensure that this happen. I'm here to ensure that girls get educated. I'm here to ensure that my community. You must have a purpose, because the purpose is what keeps you going with or without the followers. And the purpose is what keeps you soaring so high and attain a momentum where people now get inspired by your actions. You need a purpose. Most leaders that I've heard about, that I've listened to, that I've read books about, they loved life. Oh, they had such a passion for living. Not just because they wanted to be on the earth, but really because they knew that as long as they are on the earth, there is a mission to be fulfilled. There is something to be accomplished. If there is no problem that you're trying to solve, if there is no question that you're trying to answer, if there is nothing that you are bringing to the world, then you are not a leader yet. Oh, it means too that you haven't discovered your leadership potential. There must be something that drives you. There must be something that keeps you awake late at night. There must be something that wakes you up in the morning, and something that keeps you joyful, even when everything around feels depressing. That's purpose. And as believers, when we have that purpose, it comes from God. He empowers us with resilience. He empowers us to be able to move with joy and to flow in it. Purpose can become like a burden if you think about it. And when it does, it's a beautiful thing, because it ensures by itself that you always be moving forward and never go downwards. When we see people falling, or when we see people soaring on high and then the plateau, most of the times it's because the purpose didn't grow. Most of the times it's because they forgot about the purpose. Most of the times it's because they are now blinded to the very thing that pushed them to the point where they are now today. Grab your purpose. If you don't have now, this is the right time to pray about having one. And it doesn't have to be something too complicated, because I almost fell into that trap of thinking that my purpose have to be something that I sleep at night and wake up and God tells me in a dream, or I hear a very audible voice about purpose, or it has to be a 50-year, my whole life purpose. No, you can have a purpose for a season. You can have a purpose in a school as a teacher. You can have a purpose in your classroom as a student. You can have a purpose in your clubs. You can have a purpose in your community. It could be through mentorship, but you should have purpose. You should have something that drives you. You should have something, a problem you are aiming to solve, a question you are aiming to answer. So I will advise you to start simple. Look into your day-to-day, look into what bothers you more. When I started looking into what are those things, those experiences that I had that really touched me to my core, I realized that I once saw a 12-year-old girl get married, and it wasn't what I wanted at the time. I wish when I was that young and I saw her getting married, I was 10 at the time, that I could change her situation, that I could grab her out of the man's house who was about 40 years old, but I couldn't. So when I grew up and I started attending university, I realized that there was still that cry in me. There was still that thing in me that wanted to help that girl. So I decided to start a non-for-profit that helped young girls get education. But beyond that, that helped them see light, that helped them see their self-worth, that helped them become leaders. And as I was journeying further, I discovered that, a lot of people like being copies. We are told this is how the social media world works. This is how you should compare. This is how you should make it. If you want to start a brand, this is exactly what you must do. We've realized that it's only women that do this that succeed. We've realized that it's only by shutting your voice up and following and getting a normal job and accepting the pay and never negotiating. It's only by doing this traditional way that it works. But what if you decide to open your mouth and be audacious and be yourself with integrity, even in the workplace. So I started being angry about the fact that we have people who call themselves leaders, but who are really followers. So Leading with Glory started. So Daniel's generation started. The desire to see people last, not just have a trend, not just be on a trending culture, but last. So ask yourself these deep questions. What are those things that cry in you? What are those things that feel like passion? If you start talking about this topic, you can go for hours and hours and hours. You so much can talk about politics. Maybe that's an indicator that you have something to be doing in society that will help the arena of politics better. Maybe you're always complaining about your leaders, the leaders of your country. Maybe that's a sign that you're called to become a leader in your nation. So I will say this. All leaders have a purpose. All leaders have a driving motive and force. Get one if you don't. Number 3 on my list is audacity. Audacity is a very important trait for every leader. If you are still foaming, I'm shy. If you are still saying you are timid, I'm reserved, all of those things that we say to put ourselves in the background, whereas we ought to be in the front ground, you might never be the best version of a leader you can be. I'm sorry to say that, but audacity is mandatory. It is mandatory. And what do I define by audacity here is the courage, is the boldness to do what nobody else has done before. It can be in your family, it can be in your school, it can be in your generation, it can be in your country, it can be wherever. I'll take a simple example. Nobody in my family has ever stood in front of a camera to deliver what could be called a training or a podcast. But here I am doing that. Can you imagine the number of things I had to go through in my mind to decide to be here? I even had to have one of my mothers come to me and tell me, Glory, if you don't do this because you're scared of people, you will never do it. It took a lot out of me to stand before you and have the boldness to post this around. Especially as someone who is introverted, and especially as someone who considers herself shy. And believe me, when I step out of this camera and I go into the outside world, if you attack me, I'll also say I'm shy. But the reality is that you need audacity to move. No matter what it takes for you to start that thing, do it. Provided it is godly, do it. Carry on boldness. I remember when we used to hear stories about David, when the Bible talks about it, the Bible says that David told to the king of the time that when I was taking care of the sheep and that a bear will come or a lion will come, I will fend them off and take back the sheep. That's boldness. That's audacity. Have you ever seen a man that will pursue a bear or a lion? Talk less of a young adolescent boy. It takes audacity. I'll take a very simple other example. Sometimes you might receive a brilliant idea to start a restaurant, or not even to start a restaurant, to be cooking and to be posting online. And to you, it's very foolish. I remember hearing, I don't know if you know Icy Kitchen, but I remember listening to a podcast, an interview she did, and she said she was having a high-paying job. And then all of a sudden, in the place of prayer, God told her, start cooking. Take videos of it, post it online, and then turn it into your full-time job. And she said it was hard at first because how was she to explain to her parents, to her siblings, to the people around her, the entourage, that she was to quit a full-time job to start cooking? Who will understand that? But today she has blossomed. Today she's doing well. Today she's traveling and fulfilling the purpose that she really loves doing, cooking. And inspiring people through cooking and helping people through cooking. I should say to you, you become a leader when you become void of the expectations of others. You really become a leader when you start to understand that the expectations of people, of others, should not regulate how you live your life. So I'll say it again. Audacity is a trait you cannot forget. Number 4 on my list that is very important. Number 4, learn how to manage your anger. You cannot be a leader if you don't know how to manage your anger, else you will curse the same people that are supposed to be your helpers. You curse the same gifted men that God has given you. You will destroy the same thing that you are building. Anger. I didn't know I had anger until God revealed the anger to me. Until you start working with some people and they deliver a product that feels like it's not up to your standard, and they submit something and the deadline is off, or they say something and it is painful, and that thing in you wants to rise up and want to curse and want to shout, and then you're like, let me calm down. If you don't learn how to manage your anger, you will destroy the very thing that you're trying to build. If you don't learn how to manage your anger, you fend off the same people that you labored for in the place of prayer for them to come. You will drive the followers, you will drive the helpers, you will drive the people that are supposed to be there to comfort you and help you. Anger, especially the wrong type of anger, is something that's supposed to be managed. It's reasonable to be angry. It's okay because disappointment will come, but it is important that you learn and really, really learn how to stay calm in the midst of the anger, how to stay calm when someone triggers you, how to stay quiet and take some time off, then come and answer back. I'll give you a very simple thing that I've started doing that have helped me a lot with anger is when someone does something, maybe a text message that makes me really angry, I'll not respond immediately. If it is possible, I'll go and mark their message as unread. Then I'll go and do something else for 24 hours, 48, whatever it takes to calm me down, whatever it takes to quiet my soul. I can decide to listen to music. I can distract myself doing something else. I can refocus myself. But whatever it takes for me to calm myself and come back to a place of stillness, I do it. Then when I'm calmer, I'll go and I'll respond to their message, or I'll call them to talk with them. And I'll be like, I'm sorry, but first of all, this thing that you said pained me. I received it. It felt painful to me, but this, and this. If it was a product that I was waiting for the person to deliver and they didn't deliver on time, usually I've learned a simple thing: you won't kill me. When I say that, it's finished. When I start saying, this thing cannot kill me, you cannot kill me for my mama, it will just reduce the tension, reduce the strength, and show me how powerless the situation is. Because believe me, if you give the power to people to reset your mood, you'll find yourself that you'll always be angry or always be depressed or always be anxious. Take back that power and learn how to manage your anger. We have reached number 5. The last thing on the list is ego strain. For you to become a better leader, you must develop your strain in ego. What I mean by that is that you must become an independent thinker. And I'm not saying that you should become one that never seeks counsel or never asks for permissions or never asks for counsel. But what I'm saying is develop your ego strength to the point that validation by others and applause by others does not dictate your moods and does not dictate how you behave or feel. Oftentimes, we see people that break under 2 types of pressure. The first type of pressure is they have been putting a lot of work and it's not paying off, and they break under it. And why? Because they feel like they have failed the people around them. They feel like the world is not recognizing me for my effort. And because I'm getting validation from them, I break, I give up. The second types of breaking down that I usually also see is people that they are doing well, they are thriving. I mean, there was a time of boom, and they become known. They became known, they reach a high point, if we can call it that way. But the many accolades of men, the accolades of men, the awards of men tilted and change their purpose, change their vision plan to the point that now they live only in solely for those same accolades. Remember, what you did that made men to be inspired by you is what you need to do, and even more to keep the men being inspired by you. if you were very focused on your if you were very focused on the task, if you were very focused and diligent on destiny, when you reach to the top, please continue being consistent. Paul could say, this one thing that I do always, this thing that I keep doing, I press, forgetting the things that are past. And we need to learn how to do that. And that's what I call building your ego strength. Because if you don't know how to rise up above the accolations, the acclamations, and the praises of men, you will either be crushed by those praises, or you will never get them because you are looking in the wrong direction. So this is the faith counsel I really have for you. Make it a vision board. Make it a goal that the validation from others does not affect your mood, does not affect your strategies, and does not affect your events. I told you this story last time where I wanted to do a conference with my organization. And the only reason why I wanted to do the conference, to be honest, was because I wanted also to prove to other organization leaders that if I do a conference, it will succeed. And I believe me, if I had done the conference, it would have been successful in a way, but I would have failed because that was not what I was supposed to do at that particular time. The motive was wrong. The reason for doing that was to get the accolades, or at least get the respect of other organizations in regards to conferences. It would have been a failure in heaven. It would have been a failure for me because I wouldn't have derived any sense of fulfillment from it. So I want to say it again. Rise above the expectations of people. Rise above the validation of people. It shouldn't be that you give up on a dream because people don't feel like it's worth it. It shouldn't be that you give up on your potential because people have said that you will never amount to anything. It shouldn't be that you give up on yourself because they've always called you stupid and now you've ended up believing that you're stupid. It shouldn't be that the validation and the acclamation and the praises of people breaks you to the point that you forget the same reason why you were in that office, why you were voted and elected to be in that office. And now you're doing something else. It shouldn't be that because of the validations of others, now you are living above your means and you have to struggle every single day to think about school fees and rent. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And it's because the ego strength is low. It's because usually we haven't rised up to that level. It's because we say we are independent, but we are really dependent thinkers. We act like followers. That's the reason why a girl can say that I have to get a boyfriend because all my classmates are doing the same thing. That's when peer pressure comes in. That's when trying to prove comes in. It shouldn't be as a leader. And to safeguard yourself from derailing from your purpose, derailing from your vision, derailing from your potential as a leader because of the acclamations or the lack of acclamations or validation or not so of others, you should rise up in your ego strength. You should rise up as an independent thinker. You should rise up in your sense of security. We have a lot of people who are insecure. It causes a lot of problems. People must walk on 2 toes because of you. It shouldn't be. Rise up. And this is the last thing I want to say in this video. Rise up. You can be a better leader. We talked about 5 different things you can do to be a better leader. That it should be knowing yourself, that you might know thyself. That it should be about getting a purpose, working on the purpose, and having the purpose be like a guiding map for you. That it should be learning how to manage your anger. That it should be rising in your ego strength. We talk about 5 different things. Today, I want you to write a goal for each of those 5 things. A concrete steps that from now on you will take. Thank you so much for watching this video. This was Leading with Glory. And again, if this was your first time, I'm sure you will bless. Share it with a friend that needs to rise up. Share it with a brother, a sibling, a peer, a comrade, a father, a daughter, whatever that will rise up in their leadership skills. It was my pleasure. Subscribe if you haven't, liked if you haven't, and drop a comment. Have a great, great, great end of your day. Thank you.